Think we're live now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and the girls. No, I'm joking, Zach.
I was
I'm
like,
kidding.
what the fuck?
Straight Jack.
Oh my god! I was about to get our lawyers involved. I was like,
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to 1-6 Fix. Sorry, Zach. Had to just razz you a little bit
oh my
there.
god, Jesus Christ!
So
You're about to catch a case, bro.
Real quick, I pissed off John already. Now Zach's coming for me.
We're off to a bad start.
We're off to a real shitty start so far. So today we're kicking off a series called Origin Story. Really the genesis of this is I've always been curious, kind of watching you guys and other streamers on what got everyone so deep into the collecting world, right? Like we do these things like pretty intensely. And so really curious to kind of go in depth on what got us into collecting, being so obsessed with the collecting, and like our need to share that with others. So we've got a really great panel tonight. We've got the most of the folks from Collecting Weekly today. So I will introduce the panel and maybe we'll give a little background on how their day is going. We will start with John, the everyday collector. John, how you doing today?
I am doing great.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. We've also got Mario, El Profesoro. Mario, how you doing, man?
Doing well, man. You know, just hanging out Saturday night, just chilling. And yeah, thanks for having me on tonight, bro.
Appreciate you joining. Next, we've got Dean the Dream. Dean, how you doing today, brother?
What up, dude? I'm doing pretty good. Not too bad.
Awesome. And last but not least, we have Zach, the Oxfather. Zach, how you doing today?
Yo, what's up, my guy?
So I want to get the cheesy stuff out of the way real quick. Just wanted to say I appreciate you guys, for being so supportive so far. Obviously trying to break into the YouTube space and streaming and content creation. You guys have been like the most warm and welcoming folks ever. And so just wanted to say that we can move on, not make it awkward, but really, really appreciate all the support. So with that, I guess we'll give a little more background on what we're going to talk about today. So we've got some questions for the panel on really some of our early collecting memories and how our collecting has evolved to the point where it is now. To give a little background on my collecting, I had always admired hot toys from afar for many, many years, and we'll get into kind of my past collecting, but really didn't collect things too much until the pandemic. And I think I'm in the same boat where, I got it was one hot toy that kind of kicked it all off, and it's been a slippery slope since then. And, coming up on 2022 now, and no slowing down, and getting a little crazy with the collecting. So, I guess with that, we will start with our first question. I've got a curveball for you guys that I didn't even run past you originally, but a little warm up question. And John, we'll start with you.
Oh boy.
Who is your Batman? Who do you consider the ultimate Batman?
That's a great question. That's something you gotta get primed for. You can't just come live and say, "Hey, who's your Batman?"
Off the cuff.
Jeez. No, I'm gonna go just because it's what I grew up with. I'm gonna go with Keaton. Keaton's my Batman.
Okay.
Hands down.
Heck yeah! All right, Mario. Which Batman you got?
Yeah.
Sorry, we kicked you back.
My bad. I was muted. All right. So being the elderly on the panel here, man, I got to go with Adam West. Straight Batman 66, dude. That was a Batman that I grew up with when I was a kid coming home after school. Watching reruns, of course, Zach. And
I was going to say, Mario, that's
them
before your
live,
time,
baby.
bro.
You watch
watching
them live.
reruns. Watching them reruns, y'all. And,
Live.
yeah, man. I mean, Adam West is just like, I have so much nostalgia for that, for that series, man. So it's been freaking great. I love it. So
Love to hear
Adam
it.
West.
Okay. Follow-up question for you. Did the kind of cheesier 90s, Val Kilmer and George Clooney Batman resonate with you because that was your Batman? Or
Nope. Hell no. So I did enjoy when the Keaton Batman first came out, the 89 Batman. When that dropped, amazing. I mean, never seen anything like that in regards to Batman because I'm used to, to the kapow, sock, and wham, the cheesiness of the 66, right? So when something this dark and serious comes out at the time, it was like, yo, this is next level ish, right? So I ate it up, man. The same thing when when Batman Returns came out. After that, when they did Val Kilmer and George Clooney. I was like, nah, I'm not about this. So I don't. You know what? To be honest, I don't remember if I ever finished either of them. I honestly don't remember much about those films at all. So I was like,
All right.
nope, not for me.
Respect it. All right, Zach, since we'll skip over Dean for now, and who's your Batman?
I would say of all the movie Batman, I kind of like Bale the most. If I had to pick a best overall Batman, I kind of like the DC animated Batman.
I think this is Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, Kevin Conroy or like Batman the Animated Series. I think those are just like really well done Batman stories. So shout out to HBO Max.
There we go. Hey, you're still in my answer with the animated one, but
How dare you.
all right, Dean, which Batman you got?
I hate Batman.
Okay, came back for that.
That's where you-
Come on,
that's
kick
How
him
do
off.
I
like-
remove people from this? You hate Batman? Is this true, Dean?
Yeah, dude, I get shit for it all the time on our show.
Yep.
That's
He's
the
more
word
of
dingus
a
and everything.
he's more of a
I guess
Princess
if I had to
Momofuku
pick
fan.
one Batman, I guess maybe Affleck. I
the
get
worst
like
one.
The duck.
I personally like the Affleck
Dark.
Batman, Dean. So I'm gonna defend you on that. If that's your flavor, I'm cool with that.
yeah, I mean, that's kind of the only time I've ever really enjoyed Batman. I just never liked Batman. So
Dude, John, you think Affleck is worse than freaking Clooney, bro? What the hell's wrong with you?
No,
man?
I don't count Clooney as a Batman. I don't even count those two. I like Clooney and Velmer. What's his name?
Velmer?
Velmer. I don't count. I don't. Those don't. Those don't come under the qualification list. But I'm just not. I'm not a fan of Batfleck. I'm sorry. I can't be.
You can't just because it's Affleck.
It's not just because I try to be. I've watched the movies several times. I don't know if it's the acting. For me, his presence, he's not Batman. I'm excited to see. Look,
Really? Wow.
I give everybody the chance. I thought Bale did fantastic. I want to see Pattinson. I think Pattinson's gonna hit it out of the park. That's my forecast. But Batfleck, he didn't do it for me.
Okay, respect. I think you're right on Pattinson, though. I think
Yeah.
I got high hopes for him. I think he's going to do a real nice, like hopefully unique take on it.
Yeah, rooting for him, man.
Movie's got a lot of potential. I got some parts that make me nervous, but really looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll go last with my Batman. I got to say the Bale Batman. A little bit the animated series, like that's the one that I grew up on. But Bale Batman was the first time I was like, this content is elevated to like the next level. This is like Goodfellas level now. So yeah, that's my guy here. So, all right, well, I think that was a great way to warm us up. And with our first question here, I want to go way back in the day and kind of like search our childhoods. This is almost therapy here. So if none of y'all are comfortable with any of these questions, just, feel free to pass. But John, we'll start with you on your first collecting memory. What's the first memory you have of collecting?
Yeah, I like this question. This is a good question. We're gonna go way back.
Oh boy.
Like, I don't even think it was,
PTSD go way back.
I don't even think it was teens yet. My dad used to collect comics, and then he got me into comics, and we used to go once a week. We'd take some time, go to the local comic book shop. Over here in Toronto, it was called the Silver Snail. They're still around today. And we would just do a comic run. And that's where my passion for collecting started. It was strictly comics. And I wouldn't necessarily always read them, but even just appreciating the artwork, you box them up nicely, and you go to them once in a while. And his comics, like he had his comics and you couldn't touch those, but every once in a while he would pull them out and we would go through them together. And that's where collecting started for me. Again, it was, I think what really got me into it, even movie-wise, was the 89 Batman with Jack Nicholson's performance as the Joker. And between that and the comic collecting, I was hooked. Then you started to you'd go to the comic book store, and then you see stuff like Hot Toys come in, and you see companies like Sideshow Collectibles bringing in their statues, and that was it. Hook, line, and sinker. What do we wear? 15, 20 years later, and I'm still at it.
Direct deposit to those companies.
Exactly, yeah.
Awesome. Really cool to hear that your dad, was part of getting you into collecting. I have a similar story that I'll share when it's my turn.
Awesome, yeah.
All right, so Mario, let's go way back. The stream might not be able to handle going this far back, but
How
sorry,
dare you,
but,
sir? I'll see my way out.
The archives.
No, I'm just kidding. Oh man, I mean, where do I begin? My earliest memory is just I honestly don't consider collecting, but just having shit when I was a kid. My parents would always they would hook it up. I remember having a lot of Star Wars toys in the '80s. Transformers was a big thing. He-Man, then a little bit of TMNT. That's when I started kind of growing out of that stuff. But I want to say when I first started collecting for myself, there was a time I remember when I got news of Superman dying, that kind of like caught my interest a little bit. So I kind of dove into comics just a little bit. I never really went too hard on it, and so I got into DC a little bit during that run, and then the whole Nightfall thing happened. So I got into those stories and started collecting some of those. And then my brother got into X-Men, and that's when I discovered Jim Lee at the time, and I was like, "Oh shit, this guy."
Also into the comics, huh?
Yeah. I thought he pretty much he gets down, for being an artist and stuff like that. It was fantastic. So then I grew out of that. That was just like a quick little phase. I still have some of those comics to this day. I just found them not too long ago while I was moving out in the garage. So what really triggered my collecting habits was when the Phantom Menace was coming out in the theaters. So just before that, or just with that announcement rather, I was like, you know what? I remember having some of these Star Wars figures as I was a kid, and that'd be cool to track down some of the modern stuff and not really have any context of what the modern stuff at the time looked like, given it was a Power of the Force 2 line. They're all big, bulky, buff, little freaking figures. But at the time, I looked past that because I was like, yo, these are like, modern. These are new Star Wars figures. And I couldn't get my hand on any vintage stuff. So yeah, I went nuts on eBay, starting, getting all of those. And then when the Phantom Menace hit, I think they had the midnight sales for the toys. I was over there at KB Toy Store over here, and at midnight just grabbing up all this stuff, dude. And after that, I was pretty much hooked. It was just collecting Star Wars nonstop. All the little 3 3/4, all the different lines, trying to complete everything, and just dropping a bunch of money on this, that, and the other. And yeah, man, that's what really triggered my collecting hobbies. There's more to the story. I think later on we'll probably get into further detail, but that's
Absolutely.
what pretty much started for me.
Okay, awesome. Very cool, Mario. All right, so Dean, what is your first collecting memory?
Oh boy, my parents always used to buy me Star Wars vintage figures, because this is before they came back in theaters in like the early 90s. I think by the time I was in like first or second grade, that's when they put the movies back in theaters with the upgraded bullshit. So when I was even younger, my mom used to buy me the vintage stuff at like flea markets.
Yeah.
And like garage sales and stuff.
Same with my folks, man.
So yeah, I always had like the vintage stuff. And then from there I really liked Hot Wheels. I always got little Hot Wheels. But I really collected the Ninja Turtles. That was like super hot. I don't know. It was just like they were everywhere back then. So I have like crates. I still have them all. All my old Ninja Turtles are probably fucking worthless now, but
did you have the van?
I did, and even the big sphere thing. I don't remember what it's called.
Oh yeah, okay. Kane.
Technodrome.
Yeah, dude, it's been so long, dude. I don't remember anything about the turtles, but
Dean, you could sell the van for like $300. Isn't that what they're asking for it now?
isn't it 5? The
Fucking
Mondo
ridiculous.
one. Yeah. No, mine's probably missing everything that came with it, but I was a little kid. I didn't think about saving it.
Hate to hear it.
But yeah, fucking Ninja Turtles and Star Wars, man. Always, just every time we would go somewhere, whether it's like Goodwills or thrift stores, because they would like bag. They would just put toys in bags, and you would find like a bag of like, oh, this one's got like 3 good figures in it, and this bag has like 1, but everything else is garbage. So I'd rather get this bag.
Bro, hearing you say that just unlocked a memory. And
Dude,
like, I didn't
yeah.
even remember that.
Yeah, I always collected, and then I want to say I collected steadily up until the episode 3, and then after that I stopped collecting for years. And then one day my buddy invited me to this Facebook page, and it's all a blur from there, man.
All the enablers.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, Dean. A lot of overlap in how you got into collecting the same as me.
Yeah.
All right, so Zach, what is your first collecting memory?
First collecting memory, back at Toys R Us, and then also the base exchange, which is like, I would say like a Target, but it's on a military base.
Oh, the BX. No, we're familiar.
Yeah, the BX. There you go. Okay. And when I was younger, every 2 weeks, my parents would take us to, like we'd go to the BX often because that's like where you get everything. But every 2 weeks, we would go to Toys R Us, and we'd also get like our allowance at the time. And so around that time, Dean, I know you remember this. There was all those Dragon Ball figures where like they were like fucking. I mean, they're swole in general, but they were like real, built like baked beans, and they had the shirts that were like in 2 parts, and you could kind of like take the shirt off, like battle damage. And I just remember being at Toys R Us, and there's like a whole ass aisle of just that, and then all the Power of the Force stuff. We didn't really get any of like the super crazy expensive sets, like just the normal carded figures. I had quite a few of those. And it's weird because like, I don't think this is Power of the Force, but that X-Wing I always wanted as a kid. I always remember seeing it, and it was just always so expensive. And as a grown person, like I actually got that set. I don't remember how I got it, but I never opened it. It just felt really weird to like have it like still in the box, and I actually gave it to Seth's kid because I don't know, I just didn't want to open it. I felt like if it wasn't as cool as I thought it would be, like that whole bit of nostalgia would be ruined, so I didn't even bother opening it.
Smart.
Yeah, because I don't think it was that good. But I wanted to, like, I always had that, like, at the store you could kind of do the try me features where like his head would turn and like the fucking lights and sound stuff, and I thought that was the coolest thing. And I collected from like really young up until maybe like 13 or 14, I think, like freshman year of high school. And I remember I was really into Zoids, like the TV show and the model kits. Super fucking fun. And that's where
What
I
were
first
Zoids?
tried.
Can you remind us?
Yeah, so there was 2 seasons, or I'm sorry, there was 2 different shows, and I think there was like several seasons of each. But they're like giant mechanized like animals, and they in the first show that's like a big war thing, and then in the second show it's more like a sport. Like they have like teams of Zoids that like fight each other. And it's weird because I remember being like very conscious of that. Like I didn't tell my friends. Like I never had friends over. Well, 1, because we lived on base, but 2, it's like, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of weird to be collecting. And so once I moved, I was like, okay, well I gotta, be a big kid now and gotta go away from that. And I remember when I was in college, I think it was like 2013, whenever Black Series first came out. And I remember like right that month when they came out, I had like a chance to get all 4 of them to get back into collecting. And the person I was dating at the time was like, yeah, that's kind of a waste of money. Like it's almost $100 for 4 toys. And so I didn't start collecting until maybe 4 years after that. But yeah, I collected a lot as a kid. Like, and I think when we move, like when you move with the military, sometimes they lose your shit. I think I lost a lot of stuff. Like it just went missing. And so that kind of solidified like the whole, like, okay, well I lost most of my collection. Like, sucks to suck, but can't do anything about it. So yeah, I've been on and off collecting for a while, but I would say like this current collecting has been probably since like 2016, 2015.
Okay, so semi recently.
Yeah, somewhat, like 6 or 7 years.
Awesome. Okay, well we can get a little bit more into the origins of or what you started collecting in 2016, I guess, in a future question. But yeah, thank you all for sharing those memories. I'm gonna give you one. I've got a bunch of collecting memories. Like my dad was, the one that got me into collecting. Similar to John, he would take me to like flea markets, swap meets. We'd go like find He-Man figures, GI Joes. But he and I collected something together called starting lineups. I don't know if you guys are familiar at all. I actually have a visual aid that I can show.
Remember those?
So,
Wow, we
So
have
he
visual
was
aids.
big into let's see if I can.
It was
do
all
the share
baseball,
screen.
wasn't it, at the time?
Well, I think it started off baseball, and then so here, let me share this if we can.
Yeah.
Wow.
Show 'em. So that bad boy. So
1998,
this
eh?
specific figure right here. So they had baseball, they had football, they had some soccer, but this particular figure, Terrell Davis, because he was tearing up the league at the time, I think he was going for like anywhere from like $150 to $200 sealed, right? And so this was like a figure that my dad and I were trying to chase down. Even though we're Raiders fans, we were trying to find this, this Bronco. And I remember us going to a show, and he bought me the figure because it was slightly damaged. Bought the figure from a collector, got a good deal because it was damaged. Handed it to me to open, and then I just tore the package open in front of this collector who was losing his mind. This guy was like, "What are you doing, having your son open this figure?" And I just thought that was like the coolest. Like, it's a toy, and the fact that you can kind of appreciate it on so many levels, right? Like you could appreciate pristine card and have it up on your wall, or you could have a kid that's just like playing with it as a just a a little figure. So I'll stop sharing that screen. But yeah, I think that's one of my first collecting memories, I'd say.
That's awesome.
So I think another. Oh, go ahead, Mario.
How did your dad react? I mean, as far as you opening that as well. I mean,
No, he gave it to me and told me to open it. Like he
okay,
wanted.
all right.
I think he was trying to troll this guy.
Yeah.
Thinking back on it, I think he was trying to troll this guy a little bit because he wanted me to open it. Like he enjoyed, having some pristine, but he also wanted me to play with some. So
Yeah. Wow, that's wild.
yeah, that was a pretty fun memory. All right, so I think we kind of touched on this a little bit, but I think we can maybe go a little more in depth on what we all collected as kids, right? And maybe I'll start on this one to just give you an example. I was big into, like Dean, the Ninja Turtles. That was one of the things that kicked off my collecting. Power Rangers, oh my gosh, like remember waiting in line at Toys R Us for the freaking Megazord and trying to get the entire set. Like my parents definitely enabled my collecting, and but I remember Pokemon cards being like the first thing that went crazy. Like everybody, it was so ubiquitous. Like everyone was trading Pokemon cards. And I think that's one of the things that really kicked my collecting mindset into high gear. All right, John. So we'll start with you. What did you collect when you were a kid?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. Again, it was the comics, but really when we were in school, it was the Pokemon cards because everybody had the binders with the little sleeves, and I'll trade you this for this, and you always wanted the hollow, and then you try to trick the kids. I'll give you 2 of these for that hollow, and meanwhile they were worthless. But
I still have guilt over tricking kids.
you take the kid's binder. Oh, I never saw it. No, I never did anything like that. I'm kidding. But
Wow.
A friend of yours.
The
did.
Monties
never-
are going to come after you.
I would have never done anything like that. But regardless, no, that was we start off with the Pokemon cards. Then Yu-Gi-Oh cards came, and that was a
Hell
little
yeah,
bit
bro.
towards the tail end. But has anyone here ever heard of Crazy Bones?
No
Like in
idea
Both
what
Us
that
in
is.
Harmony?
Let me look.
Mario, I don't know. That's
I've heard of that.
Definitely a Canadian.
First of
I
the
heard
month.
the rapper.
Crazy Bones were like these little plastic
Oh,
figurines
No, I haven't.
that you'd buy and collect. I collected those. You had Pogs. You guys have Pogs over there?
Pogs and the Slammers,
things.
bro. The
Yeah.
Slammers were where it was at.
We got homies over here, bro.
Yeah. And that
If you can afford the homies, you got the mijos, dude. You remember those?
Yeah, but that was
man,
it.
the
Primarily as a kid, it was Pokemon. We were into the Pokemon cards. Man, we're going back. You're bringing back some good memories now.
Are, man. Like it's all interconnected, right? Like so much of what we do today
Oh, yeah.
is connected to our nostalgia, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, all right, John. Well, it sounds like we got a lot of overlapping in our collecting
Yeah,
history.
definitely.
All right, so Mario, I know you touched on a little bit of what you collected with the Star Wars figures, but anything else that you maybe is like a little bit more of a deep cut that you collected as
Yeah, as a kid, man. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't consider myself collecting anything, but just some of the toys that my parents bought me that I remember a lot were Transformers was another one too. I mean, I was big into that at the time. Transformers was big, had a few of them, and what was it? The OG Matchbox Voltron that came out. I had that. When I was a kid, I think was, I felt like I was balling with that one, man. I freaking love that figure so much. What else? He-Man was a thing way back when, Masters of the Universe. At the time. I had some buddies that were into GI Joe.
Mario?
I
Did
really
you
got
have the
into that.
castle, the He-Man castle?
Yeah, I had that. Oh, John, you guys were talking about early on Cash's stream. Thundercats was another one that I got into as well for a little bit. When I was a kid when that shit came out. So
Were the
that shit was pretty
Thundercats
cool.
were built similar to the He-Man, right? The kind of like the big bulky.
Fairly similar, yeah. Big bulky bodies. I mean, they were just really just a stagnant pose and this and that. No articulation. I remember one of them. I think they had like swinging arm action or some shit like that. But I mean, it's But yeah, as a kid, those are some of the stuff that I remember a lot. But I mean, Star Wars was just like the primary thing, having. So, and it's just such a bummer. I have no idea what happened to all the shit that I had. So just things get lost, things get moved or whatever like that, or things get thrown out. So
Your little cousins probably had them at some point in time.
that too, man. But yeah, man, I mean, I remember, 80s was the shit, dude. The cartoons and the toys back then. I mean, so you're just bringing me back, man. And yeah, that was pretty much what I had when I was growing up.
Okay, awesome, Mario. All right, so Dean, what did you? I know you touched on it a little bit, the flea markets and whatnot, but what did you collect when you were?
Yeah, like I said, mainly vintage Star Wars, and I mean back then it wasn't. I mean it was vintage, but that's the only thing that was there. It was before the Power of the Force came out and all those.
I got a specific question about that.
Jack Star Wars.
Do you remember your favorite figure from like the vintage Star Wars? Because I
Oh,
remember
hell yeah,
C-3PO was like my
My absolute favorite was Hoth Luke. That figure was dope, dude.
Same here.
That figure rocked. But dude, I had them all, man. I mean, I still have them all, literally. I think they're in my other garage right now. But I have just like, those carrying cases that were like Darth Vader's head,
Vader and 3PO head.
head.
Yeah.
Oh, that,
all those, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I have like 6 of those, just filled with vintage figures.
Wow.
And they're missing everything, right? Like they don't have their capes or their lightsabers or their blasters, so they're probably really not worth much. And they were very played with. But dude, the vehicles, the Falcon, the X-Wings, TIE Fighters, like I have all that stuff. And
that's so sick that you still have the stuff too. That's incredible.
yeah, I guess my dad was a collector growing up. He liked Star Trek stuff. And so I guess I kind of picked that up from him. And then my mom, I guess, figured out I liked it so much that she would buy me pretty much every Sunday. We would go to the flea market and I would get at least one thing, So yeah, I pretty much anything I've ever bought, I still have somewhere. It's Zach knows I rarely sell things, and that's not a recent thing. That's I always. So yeah, mostly vintage Star Wars and Turtles, and I guess Hot Wheels.
Heck yeah. All right. Okay, question on the Hot Wheels for you. What were they had the green band. They were like a special chase type of Hot Wheel. What were those called again? Treasure Hunt.
Yeah, treasure hunts and super treasure hunts. The only reason I know about any of that is because my buddy Don loves Hot Wheels. I didn't collect Hot Wheels like that. I just like cars. So, especially as a little kid, I don't know what the fuck that is. Like, it's a cool car, so like I want it. But yeah, I don't do Hot Wheels now. That's a whole other fucking. That's like Funko Pops, dude. wild, dude. How you could buy like a 99-cent car and it's worth like $100. It's
Crazy.
just crazy. Yeah. But yeah, I stopped Hot Wheels a long time ago.
All right, awesome. Okay, Zach, I know you touched on a lot of what you used to collect, but any other memories come?
I think John mentioned it, Pokemon cards. I forgot. Yeah, I used to collect those a lot. We'd go to the flea market, and there was one guy that, I guess he used to have like a permanent booth there, but we would basically see him pretty much like every Sunday in the morning. So yeah, definitely Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards too. Yu-Gi-Oh was actually very profitable for me. Yu-Gi-Oh is so
Wow.
fucking expensive. You think like, like base set cards are expensive, but like when a new Yu-Gi-Oh card drops, even today, like if it's a really competitive card, it like blows Magic cards like out of the water, price wise. So yeah, Pokemon cards. When I was in elementary school, this is sort of so weird. Everyone was really into marbles. I don't know why, but like not any marbles, like the Pokemon marbles, and everyone would play for keeps. So like if you lost, you would lose your marble. But I had this sick blue Zapdos marble, and I fucking wrecked every single person that I played with that marble.
So you were
In fact,
coming
I
home
want to
with
go
lots
and
of
I want to
marbles.
go and buy. Yeah, dude, I was slanging that thing, bro.
Zach making everyone lose their marbles.
I was gonna make a
love
joke,
to
but
see
you
it.
took it. That's it.
God damn it,
Damn it.
Dane.
I was gonna say that's how Zach lost his marbles.
No, I didn't lose him, baby.
Yeah.
I didn't lose him. We did Lego a lot as a kid too. That was always fun. But yeah, Manny says, "Tell your Walgreens Anakin story." Manny always gets so butthurt every time I tell that story. I don't know why. He gets so sensitive about it. I don't want to tell it anymore. I'm never telling
It's
it
a
again.
new audience, man.
I retired the story. I've retired the story.
Come on, bro.
Nope,
Now,
I don't
now
want to tell
I
it.
really want to hear
Every
it. Can we
time,
get the
every
Cliff Notes?
time, even if I'm not even bringing it up, he'll comment about it. I don't want to tell the story. The story is,
All right, maybe.
it's in the backlog.
All right, maybe we'll get him to tell the story at the end of the stream.
How dare you?
All right. I had a question for you on the Pokemon cards. Did you guys ever get the Japanese ones, the ones that were in Japanese and not English? I remember like going to some little. My mom was like, "Oh, they sell Pokemon cards over at this shop," and I was like, "These aren't the fucking ones I wanted.
These aren't
I
real."
wanted the English one."
Yeah, I remember one time we went to like a 99-cent store, and I was like, this fucking Pokemon has 800 hit points. That doesn't make any fucking sense. It was clearly fake. But they looked fucking awesome. Yeah, no. So actually, one of my most vivid memories of Pokemon collecting, same vendor at the flea market. This guy was like, I mean, even back then, some of the cards were very, very expensive. And I remember this is the first time I ever saw like someone buying that stuff for business. And so he had his employees, and they were like in the back of a pickup truck that I guess was his pickup truck, and they were just opening packs, like trying to find these super rare cards. And they were foreign cards, which I thought was interesting. And I remember they were freaking out, and they found the card they were looking for, and it's a Shining Charizard, which is an insanely expensive card now.
I was gonna ask.
But I
how much
remember,
it's going.
I remember when they pulled it, it was like they found the Holy Grail. Yeah, it's an insane, like a 6.5 graded is like over $2,000.
Wow.
That's just what I can see off the rip. But let me see if I can find a 9.5. But even raw, you're looking at like 400 plus. And I remember they were so fucking stoked, which I guess I would be at the time if it was pulling that kind of card. Yeah, it was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Because at that time, those card packs were very expensive. Like, because these small stores would buy up all the packs in town, and then resell them for like $6 to $8 a pack. When I think they were like $3 retail. And to see someone literally opening like hundreds of packs in front of you was just like the craziest thing. And they found what they wanted. It was fucking wild.
That's awesome that you were there to see them actually pull that
know.
card.
It was fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, I remember everyone was like, "Oh, I got the Japanese one," and it's like, so.
Those aren't the
It's
real
not worth
ones.
more, especially back then. I don't know
Well,
about now, but I remember back
think,
then
yeah.
it was like I can't even use that card, so what do I care?
Yeah, speak this language.
Yeah, I have a few. I think I have like a handful of Japanese ones. It's like really terrible cards anyway. Like, who gives a fuck? You have a Japanese Rat-a-tat. Like,
Rattata, bro. Dude, if I honestly like just came across a bunch of money, I would probably get one of those Charizard cards just because it's such a vivid memory and it's a
Would you wear it
beautiful
around
card.
your neck though?
No, I'm not fucking Logan Paul. Here I shared it. If you want to share the tab, I
Don't
just
wear it
brought
around
in.
your neck.
This
Forget
is
about it.
the art. It's like the art itself is just like the card, but the Charizard is like in this holographic. It's a beautiful card.
I had
If I
4 of
could
these.
find one,
Damn.
I don't even know that existed.
dude, if I could find one of these, this is not a bad price. This is like an all-time grail to own. Beautiful card, dude.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Is it a grail because of that memory that you have of those guys fucking losing their shit when finding it?
No, so obviously when you're a kid and you have a Game Boy, you have a very important choice to make, and that's what starter you're going to go with, and Charmander was always my starter.
If you didn't
So,
pick Charmander, what were you even doing?
yeah, you're a fucking idiot, to be honest. I remember my friends would pick Blastoise, I'd be like, oh, it's water beach, and I'd beat the absolute shit out of them with my Charizard every single time.
I have no idea what y'all are talking about.
They're speaking
sorry.
in tongues.
We'll talk about the what's the old people thing?
We'll talk
The
about
comic
no,
strips.
No. As you were.
Porridge.
Yeah, there you go, porridge.
Kick the can.
Oh man, the
I
dozens.
was like, we used to put the cards in our bicycle wheels.
Jesus Christ.
Motherfucker, we did that.
Oh man, yeah, I remember actually. If I could just share one more story, when we were young, my parents, we didn't have a lot of money, and so again, it was very hard to find Pokemon cards back then. And there was a mall. I don't remember which one it was, but this guy had a whole like wire container full of Pokemon packs, which makes no sense. I feel like the bottom cards would be super damaged. But anyways, my parents were like, we can buy each of y'all one pack of cards. And I remember, because back then Charizard had 120 hit points. It was a big deal. The only other card that had 120 hit points was Chansey. My first ever holo Pokemon card was Poliwrath, which is not that great, to be honest. My brother had Chansey. None of us had Charizard. And I swindled my brother into trading me his Chansey for my Poliwrath. And like a week later...
What's the age difference?
2 years.
Okay.
A week later, he was crying to my dad that he wanted his card back, and I said, absolutely not. And I remember my dad was so pissed that we were arguing over this stupid shit. He sat all of us down at the table, and he's like, all right, I'm giving you your Chansey back. You're getting your Poliwrath back. So he undid the trade. And he's like, and just so I don't have to hear any more of this bullshit, he was like, all right, Zach, you pick a card. And I picked a card, and he put a big Z on the back. Not a big Z, but like a tiny Z in the bottom right corner. And then he went to my brother, and then my youngest brother, and then back to me. And until all the cards were sorted. He's like, those are your cards. Don't fucking bother me about this anymore.
You guys are
Honestly,
fucking
if
arbitration.
we sent those into CGC, it might be a prestige collection, to be honest.
What worries me more is he actually remembers the Pokemon's names. That's what worries me more.
No, I love that, man, because I was
No,
struggling. I was struggling to picture him. I remember Chansey, but
Chansey.
Poliwrath,
Clearly scarred by this.
Oh, I was so pissed, dude, because the hardest flex on the playground was having a Charizard, right? In my mind, the hardest flex of what we had available in our 1821 pack, whatever, however many, like 12 cards that we had was Chansey. That was gonna get me the most street cred. No one, fucking Poliwrath had like 90 hit points, bro. No one was impressed by Poliwrath. Chansey, 120 hit points, not bad. It's not bad.
I had a friend of mine or actually a coworker at the time that was into collecting this shit. And the only thing that I remember, or the only way I remember this whole Charizard name, because this dude was always on the hunt for this stuff, right? So I remember during his lunch break, he would head up to Target and whatever stores and this and that, just buy a bunch of packs. And he'd always tell me, dude, I'm looking for this Charizard, This thing's worth a lot of money. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is a Charizard? You know, so this is like that's the only thing that I understand. But when you're talking whatever names that you busted, I was like, okay, Chance and Remy
Meant nothing
and
to you.
whoever.
And
Those are rap.
Dude,
Salamander.
How
I
dare
Yeah,
you?
exactly.
could have sworn I had a hollow Charizard. And for the longest time, I was looking for my Pokemon binder because I kept them all together. And this is like when Pokemon was getting real expensive. And I was like, dude, I bet you I have some cards that are really expensive because as soon as I got my cards, I put them in a sleeve and I would put the sleeve in the binder.
Oh,
So
you
it's
were
like,
diligent
my
about
cards,
it.
My cards are going to be fucking pristine. Like, I know it. Fast forward a couple years, I never find my binder. My sister is renovating our old house, and we had to get all our shit out of it. So me and my sister started clearing out the attic, which is where I had like a lot of my vintage stuff. Well, she finds my Pokemon binder. I'm like, fuck yeah. So I go through my binder, not a Charizard in sight. I was like, what the
No.
fuck, dude? I could have sworn I had a hollow Charizard. Because like Zach said, that was like the fucking card to have.
It's like rolling up to school in a freaking Lamborghini. If you
Yeah,
had a
dude,
Charizard.
for real. And I was really bummed because I was like, man, I really could have sworn I had that card. And I had some pretty good hollows, so I wasn't that bummed, but I was like, damn, that sucks. And then like I'm sitting there going through my binder, I was like, oh, you know what? Zach had given me like boxes of Pokemon cards the other day because he was just like throwing out.
Worst
a bunch of
mistake
shit.
of my life.
And I was
I
like,
didn't know
let
that
me
was in
see-
there.
Let me see what's in this
that was
box.
No.
First box I opened in a fucking hard sleeve, foil Charizard.
But
Stop.
that Charizard is like in 1.5.
Yeah, it's not
it's
in-
rough.
Yeah, it's probably.
It's really
like,
trust
looking
me.
at it,
I've
like,
seen
it's
it
like,
outside of
oh.
the sleeve. It's bad, bro.
Yeah,
It's
but
bad.
it counts, dude.
So
Like
you didn't give him the opportunity to get it back. You're like,
No,
no,
Of course
No,
not. What the
No,
hell?
he's a
What?
horrible human being.
Okay,
I accidentally
first of
give
all,
him something.
Dude,
You think Zach
there's
gave back
so
the
many
marble?
times, dude. There have been so many times Zach has like given me shit. He's like, dude, I just need to get rid of it. I was like, all right, I'll take it. And like a year will pass by. He's like, hey man, you think I can get that back? And eventually, one day, I was
I
like,
will
Zach,
say-
I'm not your fucking.
How dare you? First off, how dare you? No, I always say, if you ever plan to get rid of it, let me get it back. I don't
No.
just hit you up and say, let me get
No,
it back.
you did. You did it with all your what were they?
That's different. Magic card, that's totally different. That's totally different.
different Dean.
You're not, that's
no,
apples and
no,
oranges,
and then he
my
did it
guy.
again with a T-Rex toy and a Jurassic Park toy. He's
No,
done it a few
He's
times.
telling lies. Marco, are you gonna? You're compromising your journalistic fucking integrity here by letting us
Dude,
I'm
answer.
gonna
I'm
both
telling
sides
you.
out. I'm
Wait,
putting
okay,
a roll in
Dean,
your
I got a
box.
question for you, and I might need something back if the answer is yes. I will do this on air. Okay, because I have no idea what happened to this. Did I give you a Lego Ghost, the Rebel shuttle, or no?
No, I wish.
Okay, I wish
You gave me the Lego Milan.
I think it. Yeah, okay. And then I think I gave you like Pose X-wing and a bunch of random shit. But I was trying to figure out what I
Yeah.
did with my Ghost because that set's
Oh,
stupid
I don't,
expensive.
dude. I would have loved.
What up, GG?
hey, I would have loved the Ghost, dude. Because I don't know about now, but it got really fucking.
It's
expensive.
fucking insanely expensive now, bro.
I would probably wager you still have it.
No. I
Since
think
you're
I traded
nowhere?
into bricks and minifigs. I think
Oh,
I traded
maybe.
it in.
Since you
Yeah,
guys are
no,
all
I've-
talking about giving things back,
Hey,
you
John,
might as
how
well
about you
give him
shut
back
the
his.
hell
How about you give him back his dignity?
What do you mean? I didn't
What
take his
the
dignity.
fuck? Wow, look at this.
What
Wow,
service?
that was.
I'm just
That was-
flexing for the stream. She never does this. Ever.
Wow. Dude, she'll smack you in the head, bro.
I was about to say she's gonna turn that corner, pop you on.
When we go to her family's house, who's like very traditional Mexican, I'll be like, "Come on, serve my plate, please." Like I'm uncomfortable doing it in front of your dad, and she's like, "Make your own fucking plate. What are you talking about?"
Wow, that seems.
Yeah, it's
Seems
extra harsh. All right, so any other Pokemon thoughts? I love that though. I'll go deep on that because that's a lasting memory.
Anyone ever
Of a
play
lot of
Let's Go
childhood.
Pikachu? Because I think I'm gonna buy it.
Is that on the Switch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey John, how about
I
you
haven't
shut
played
the
it.
hell up?
Wait, so that's the remake. The remake of
It's the remake, but I heard
OGs.
it's not that good. But I
Anybody
just like
play
you could fly around on your Pokemon the whole time.
Pokemon Gold,
Oh shit. Okay.
Dude, silver baby.
Yellow.
That sounds really familiar. Let's go Pikachu.
it's like a game.
Did
I
you
remember
download
as a
did you
kid.
download the app and go around catching Pokeballs and all that thing?
No, but I need to do that now that well, I've been fat, but now that I want to be skinny, I got to go and do that. So
Oh, dude.
I could get skinny.
Okay, I used to play that game when it first came out. And again, I didn't have anything special, but I had a bunch. Well, in order for people to like get back into the game, they were like, "Oh, if you have like these Pokemon before this date, they're worth more." And you could like trade them, and the person that was trading them would like get like more, I don't know. They were just more valuable. So I had like a bunch of people like trying to fucking like get all my Pokemon because they were like the first ones released. It's fucking hilarious.
So we have a question from the chat, and I'm so sorry, chat. I'm a rookie here and have not addressed everyone, but I'm going to
Yes, hang on. I'll go get it if you want me to. No, because yeah, I'll be right back.
Go get what?
Manny asked him if he still has a gold card that he gifted him.
So Mario, since we've hijacked so much of this conversation to talk about Pokemon.
No, I'm just listening, bro.
Hey, let's shift back to the collecting in our adult lives, and we still have a few more questions about what we used to do when we were kids. But I think Mario, let's start with you first. What got you back in? And I think you alluded to this a little bit, but like, what got you back into collecting and really down the route you are now, where you're in these Facebook groups and on live streams, and like, do you recall what kind of accelerated that?
Yeah, you know what? So there was a time where I kind of took a break from collecting. After the 2000s, I had moved on from Star Wars, and that's when a lot of the reissues of the shit that I had when I was a kid started coming out. Like the Takara, they would reissue the G1 Transformers. So I was like, oh. So I had to, man. I had to jump on those, and then this company called Yamato started doing the 160 Valkyries from Macross. I was like, oh shit, I never had these when I was a kid. So then I jumped on those. Bandai was reissuing the 155 Macross figures as well, the Valkyries, and I went nuts on all of those stuff.
Was it something where like you got one in hand and you're like, oh, I got to get the rest of them?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much, man.
Worst.
Yeah, that's how it started. And the thing was that I think that's how I was introduced into the Macross movie. Dean, do you remember Love? Was by picking up those Yamato pieces, because none of them were the TV pieces. So I really didn't have any familiarity with the Super and the Strike stuff that was out there. So after collecting those for a while, I went ahead and sold all those, and started getting into Black Series when it first came out. So
when did Black Series first roll out?
I remember 2013.
2014. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Time. So I started getting those, and then I think after around when The Force Awakens came out, I was like, you know what? I'm getting tired of like what I was promised wasn't coming to fruition as far as like the quality of the figures. The paint apps were, I thought were lacking. The articulation started to suck, in my opinion, at the time. So by the time The Force Awakens hit, I sold off the entire collection that I had that came out when it first dropped, and I pretty much started putting that money more towards Hot Toys. I'd started collecting Hot Toys at the time because, or a little bit before that. I think I first started in 2014, tail end 2014, around there. So I sold everything off just to help fund, the new addiction, because what I wanted was some sort of ultimate representation. But the thing was, at the time, there was figures that were out that I wasn't collecting. Basically, all the MCU stuff. Right. So I was appreciative of what was out there just because of the art. I'm like, man, this is like next level stuff right here. The realism, in the sculpts and in the bodies and the tailoring, the accuracy to the costumes, everything, man, the overall fit and finish. And I started getting into all of that, and just went nuts, after starting with Hot Toys. And then they announced that they were getting the Star Wars license. I was like, oh shit, I'm in trouble. at the time.
So they did Force Awakens and they just had that license, but didn't have a back catalog. Okay.
Right. I mean, the only thing that existed at the time was like the DX07, the Bestman 2-pack Luke, which I never really picked up. I always told myself later, I'll get it later.
I'm gonna trigger John, but really hope they reissue that one.
So do I. And I never have to this day picked it up, but yeah, there was so much that was going on, with Hot Toys where I just went nuts. I picked up the first one that I had in hand was was Thor from what was the second movie called again? I forget.
Dark World.
Dark World, yeah. It was the Asgardian version, so it was like sleeveless and everything. So when I first got that in hand, I was like, oh shit, that was pretty cool. But when they also announced, I think before that they had announced the Dark Knight Armory with Bruce Wayne and Alfred. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, that was like technically my first pre-order.
Mario, that was the first hot toy I ever saw, and definitely didn't take the plunge for a long time. But that freaking set looks crazy. So that was your first pre-order.
That was actually my first pre-order. I mean, I was exposed to a lot of it at going on my trips at Frankenstein's a lot. One of the first ones I remember seeing was actually I think it was the Iron Man Mark II Unleashed, and I was like, holy shit, what is this? Then I started looking into them a little bit more and more. And then I saw that they were doing, they had announced, an Adam West Batman at the time too. I was like, that's cool, but that's a lot of money. I'm not getting into it. And then like a month later, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to start doing this.
Got to pull the trigger.
Exactly, man. So, I jumped on, like around that time. And then when the Star Wars figures came out, I think the first one I want to say was Han and Chewie, and then Obi-Wan came out. And then I told myself at the time, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get original trilogy. And then Rogue One came out, and I was like, nope, original trilogy. But I ended up getting some of the hero figures from there, like Gen Ursel Deluxe, the Chirrut Emily Deluxe, K2SO.
Do you still have all those figures, Mario?
Yeah, I still have them all. Okay. I still have them all.
You don't sell stuff, huh?
I do. I do. I started selling stuff that I wanted to move on from, particularly the older MCU figures that I had, like the Dark World Loki, the Captain America figures. What was it from the Winter Soldier? Sold all of those, just because new ones kept coming out, So I wanted to just sell those off just so I can start getting more and more and more and more. And yeah, I got so stupid with Hot Toys, man. It got to the point to where I told myself, I want to see if I can budget enough so I can get like one figure a month for like a year. So that happened, and then the next year turned into 2 figures a month, and then turned into 3 figures a month, and the next thing you know, I'm freaking juggling like 6 or 7 flex payments in a month.
There's just so much Star Wars coming out right now. And
there was so much. I mean, yeah, but at the same time, I was also collecting DC also, which I still kind of do. So I was everywhere. I really didn't have like a main focus until probably about a year ago, is when I finally decided, I gotta change direction and just try to focus on Star Wars only, which is difficult because there's a lot of good stuff that's out there right now. And at the same time, just under a year ago when I met Eddie, we went to Frankenstein's, he introduced me more into the statues that are out there right now. At the time, I didn't figure that from the statues that I've seen, a lot of them are comic based, and any of the movie stuff that I saw wasn't really up to par in my opinion. But then to see what's going on, how these studios are introducing these newer technologies that are basically changing the freaking game altogether, I'm like, shit. So, and so yeah, to this day, I blame my statue collecting now on Eddie, since he's the one that pretty much got me into it. And I was streaming with PJ, the Paradox Nerd, for a little bit too when I first started, and he kind of helped get me over that hump as well. So then I took the plunge and ordered Asajj Ventress for the first one.
Oh, that's a bad.
And then right after that, I picked up the Darth Maul. So I picked them up pretty much both at the same time. And the Darth Maul was the first to come in. We did the unboxing on that, and I was just like, I was at a loss for words, man. I was stunned on how amazing that piece came out, and I just couldn't stop staring at it. I remember just put it together, and I was just like quiet, just looking at it. Everyone that I had on stream with me, I think Thor, PJ were there, and Eddie. We were talking about it, and I'm just sitting there quiet, just staring at this thing. I'm like, first of all, like, what the hell did I do? And then after that, it was just like admiring, the paint apps and the overall execution of the piece itself. And I was just blown away. And then after that, when I started seeing, I was being introduced to more of these other studios, Queen Studios, Prime One, just seeing what's out there, I was like, I get this, I want that, I want that, I want that. And
Slippery freaking slope, man.
it really is, man. And I'm trying not to get the same way that I was for Hot Toys as I'm into statues right now. Because there's no way it's I can't sustain it. I have to sell pretty much everything I've got, just to support that hobby.
Does that include your body or?
Well, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's
so,
true.
hey, whatever it takes. And yeah, man. So, and right now, currently, I'm at that point in collecting to where, I think I've said this before, is do I want to make that transition to go full time in solely statues? The one thing I've said many, many times, John knows, is that if Queen Studios ever got the license to Star Wars, I'm selling everything, and I'm going full time. Star Wars and Queen Studios. That's an easy thing. But at the same time, it's like there's so much good stuff, in my opinion, that's coming out, and what did it for me is like after packing up the collection, just to see how some of these figures kind of like don't hold up that well as far as the quality of the body itself, and something's deteriorating and this and that. It was kind of heartbreaking, and it just keeps crossing my mind just to get out. But then when I see them drop a new figure, another clone, another figure that's out there that I know that doesn't exist, in quarter scale or third scale, I'm like, shit.
They suck you right back in.
It pretty much, man. It's hard to get out, man. I mean, today I just finally unboxed this Captain America, put it in the display from the Endgame, and that's a great freaking figure, man. It's nice. I really like it a
Beautiful.
lot. And right before we were starting, I was putting together Black Widow over here. I haven't really had a chance to go over it that much, but just looking at it right now, she looks great. They keep on getting better and better, and it really is difficult to get out of this hobby completely. I mean, as far as 1/6 is concerned, or Hot Toys rather. So, yeah, man, it's for right now. There doesn't seem like there's no end in sight. And
all right, well, we'll need to have a follow up in a few months to talk more about where our collections are headed, the kind of direction we're going. But well, thank you for sharing all that, Mario. Much appreciated. I guess John, we'll kick it over to you now. So, what got you back into collecting? If you never stopped. I know you discussed a little bit, but what was kind of what you remember getting you back into collecting this heavily?
Yeah, I started collecting pretty young. Like I got into the Hot Toys game at like 15, so I was really young. Same
15,
with
damn.
Same with statues. Yeah, 15, 16, around the first time you get your first job, sort of thing. And I have a saying, I liked it. You could take the collectibles away from the collector, but you can't take the collector away from the collectibles. If that makes sense.
I love that. Yeah.
I collect. That's why you'll see the majority of my collection was, 10, 11, above 5 years old, especially when it comes to the statues. And I took a brief pause. You want to save to get your life on track, right? I was young. Buy a house, get everything started. So once I was able to accomplish that, that's when I really was able to kind of get back into collectibles, more so the Hot Toys. And then that's around the same time that I kind of met these guys in Collecting Weekly.
Were you doing Star Wars and Marvel? And
I do everything. I don't have a focus. If I see a release that I really like, I'll pick it up. I don't have a focus.
Okay. I'm the same way.
Yeah, I'll just stick to Star Wars or Marvel. No. If I really see something, whether it's a statue or a figure of a character that I like, or a moment in a movie, and I think it's one of the questions we'll get into a little bit later, so I'll save it for that. I'll pick it up just because of how it made me feel. But yeah, no, collecting is, I can never see myself stopping collecting, or if you have to stop, you have to stop, get everything in order. But the passion and the love for the collectibles, I can't see myself ever stopping.
Completely agree with that. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that, John.
No,
so
please.
so Zach, can we see that Pokemon card one more time? Sorry, we kind of took the spotlight from you.
Look at that.
Which
Manny gave this to me on the eve of the first ever Collecting Weekly Awards, when he asked me to be one of his groomsmen.
Aw.
And yeah,
beautiful.
I keep it. I do a lot of like painting and stuff. So in my garage, I have like a shelf of like sentimental things. I keep it up there. But yeah,
That's awesome. All right. So Zach, you did allude to it a little bit, but what got you back into collecting?
I don't feel comfortable answering this question.
Okay, that's
Just
that's
kidding.
fair.
No,
Hey, I have a bonus question for you as well. Where does your passion for Lord of the Rings come from? Because I feel like I don't know that many Lord of the Rings heads like you. Like you're
well,
into
you
it. But anyway, so that's
Well,
what's
he just jumped on the bandwagon.
No, how dare you? No, my uncle
I
was a
believe
big
Dean.
fan. My uncle was a big fan, and I've said this on the show before. In middle school, we had like this language arts book that had excerpts of like classic literature, and The Hobbit, Riddles in the Dark was one of the passages that was in that book. And usually, they would be like, free time, whatever, like read whatever for 30 minutes. And that was always the passage I would go back to. And my uncle was a huge fan. And when he passed away, I got a lot of his Lord of the Rings stuff, so like some of his like collector's edition sets and like random other accoutrement. And I think finally, like for the Crown Series Gandalf, I was kind of put off by the price, to be honest. And it's still obviously very expensive. But we live in a world now where like $350 isn't really that expensive. Because I think when it first came out, it was like the regular Hot Toys stickers would go for like $220, so $350 was pretty up there. But yeah, I mean, I got a pre-order, secured it, and then Mark, one of our Patreonies, is really well versed in the books, and like I like the books, but there's so much like nuance in the books and the movies that like you might watch it and on face value, like you just take it as one thing, but in reality, it's like quite a bit deeper than that. So having like someone else to nerd out with about Lord of the Rings is like, not many people in our circle really care about it. So, Mark was a big influence for me to like get real into it. And then just along the way, we've met some really cool people like M4, who made a wonderful Hobbit edit. And then we also found some really great audio books that are more like radio dramas, so they're a little bit more exciting. Yeah, so that's how I got into that. But as far as like how I got into collecting again, I'll give you the abbreviated version. I found a figure that was long sold out at a Walgreens, and it really like brought me back to being young and collecting. And at that point, the current Black Series wave was the one with the red clone trooper, the phase 1. So I picked that up and I was like, dang, this is dope. I was like, well, I remember being real into Dragon Ball Z, so let's see what's out there for Dragon Ball Z. And Figuarts was, I believe, just getting into Dragon Ball Z. Like, they had the Piccolo, the Cell Saga Gohan, picked those up, and then pretty much was like off to the races. Got into Figuarts, picked up the Jedi Luke Skywalker, and pretty much just like went bananas like over the next till now. So yeah, that's how I got back into it.
Got it. All right. So really quick acceleration, and thank you for sharing your the background on Lord of the Rings. It's really cool that you got that personal connection to it. All right. So Dean, it sounds like you never stopped collecting, but do you recall something that really like accelerated your collecting besides knowing Zach?
Yeah, so I stopped collecting after Star Wars Episode 3. I really liked getting the clones and stuff, but then that was, God, what year was that? 2002 or 2003? It was a long time ago. Whenever
Episode 3
was out, yeah.
That was 2005.
Okay, 2005. Thank you.
Long time ago.
And
in a
It
galaxy
wasn't
far, far away.
until like 2015, I believe, that my buddy at Dawn knew how much I liked the character Boba Fett. Because I would still buy Boba Fett stuff.
What do you mean stuff like T-shirts and
like a cool poster, or like I have this cool, like, it's like a giant Lego clock that's Boba Fett, like the minifigure, but it's giant. So I would just buy Boba Fett stuff. And one day he was like, "Hey man, I'm a member of this Facebook group, and people buy, sell, trade shit on there, like toys and stuff. You should join it, because there's a guy, he just posted a bunch of Boba Fett stuff." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Like, add me." So he adds me, and sure enough, I see the post. It's a Black Series Boba Fett, the Walgreens one, the all white. It's some other stuff. So I buy it, and I was like, "Yo, this is dope. I've never seen a 6-inch Star Wars figure, you know. I'm used to 3 3/4 inch Star Wars figures.
missing the
I didn't even know these existed, you know." And so I type into the search bar in the group, Star Wars Black Series, and this lady had a fucking lot of like pretty much every Black Series that has existed up until then. And I sent her a message like, "Yo, these are the ones I want." So I picked up X-Wing Luke, R2-D2, Boba Fett,
bangers.
Darth Vader, the Scout Trooper on the bike. What else did I pick up? Dude, I picked up like 7 Black Series figures from this lady for like $100.
Oh shit.
Dude, that R2
Dude,
alone at the time was like $100.
Exactly. And like either like she didn't know what she wanted, or she just wanted to get rid of it. I was shocked it was even on the group. So I buy these. I'm like, "Yo, these are fucking cool. Like, I fucking love Star Wars. These are bigger, much more articulation. Like, I love this. This is cool." So I started looking for every Black Series I could find. Eventually, I pretty much bought them all. And I was like, "Yo, like, I kind of set out to what I set out to do. I now have pretty much every Black Series figure that there is, other than the ones, you know, that are still coming out." And then that's when I met Zach and got into 6 scale. And it's been a whole fucking, just a fucking whirlwind since then.
So you guys met through Facebook though.
Yeah, in that group.
Okay, got it.
Because Rainer, the other Zach in the group, he bought something from Zach and he couldn't get there, and he was going to take a bus. And I was like, "That sounds like a bad idea." I was like, "Wait for me to get off work and I'll take you." So we went to Zach's place, and dude, we spent like fucking like 3 hours there. Like, it was supposed to be a quick like in and out, like, buy this thing, let's get out of here. And like, honestly, it's like we had been friends for years. Like, we just clicked,
awesome.
and we were just, before we knew, we were just hanging out. It wasn't even like a sale anymore.
Damn, you guys are making out all of a sudden. You're like,
Yeah,
this took a
dude,
weird
hot and
turn.
heavy.
Couldn't
like, his
resist my boyish
finger was in
charm.
my butt. It was crazy. And, yeah, and then it turned into like, well, Zach's the only guy I know that is in the 6 scale, so let me ask him some questions. And then, you know, it turned into that kind of like, "Oh, let me ask Zach. Like, can I come over and check out your thing? Because like, I don't really know what you're explaining to me." And so I would just go and hang out with Zach, and then it was just, we started the podcast. So, because it's like, dude, we're talking about a bunch of shit that, like, if I'm asking you questions, then people are obviously don't know. And then we started our own group, the 1-6 group, and it was like, dude, these motherfuckers are asking the same questions too. Like, you know the answers. We're all on these Facebook groups. People are asking these questions. Like, we should put the information out for. I mean, Zach wanted to do that before he met me, but I pretty much wouldn't let him not make a podcast. I was like, "Do it, dude, do it." So
That's really cool that it comes from a place of wanting to help people though, like that community, and you wanting to like share your passion with others.
Yeah, well, it was Zach. I think it's more Zach's need for attention, but
How dare you?
fuck, I love the dude, man. Honestly, like, yeah, it's like I said, like even the first time we met, it was like we had been friends forever. So it's just a testament to Zach, honestly.
That's beautiful, man.
Thanks, bro. I inspire people, if I'm being honest.
See what I mean? So, yeah, you just you gotta have a taste for
A
that.
natural born leader.
John and Mario seem to think different, but
How dare you? As you sit there wearing our company's logo on your head, Mario, how dare you? It looks good. It looks good on
Hey,
you.
he's
It
like a
looks
b-boy.
good.
love it. I guess I already shared the story, so I'll give the real Cliff Notes version of how I got back into collecting, and it's been like crazy how quickly it's accelerated from like admiring Hot Toys from afar. Right, I saw the Christian Bale, like the Dark Knight ones. Always wanted them. Was still kind of not in like the financial position to maybe buy one, and also my place was pretty small, so I was like, okay, just something that I'll appreciate from afar. And then when the pandemic hit, which I think a lot of folks got back into collecting, right? That's why we're seeing like rises in like all these different collectibles, like cards and Pokemon cards and stuff. But I told Gigi, I was like, hey, they got this Thanos hot toy. And I think it would look really great in the room that's like our theater room. I think it'd look really great in the corner. And so she looked at the price. She's like, okay, fine. Like, just get it. Let's order it. And then it didn't, because of the pandemic, didn't ship like forever. I didn't know how Hot Toys worked. I didn't know that like after I pre-ordered, I was going to be waiting for forever. So then I was like, oh, let me see what's in stock on Sideshow. And then bought the Captain America concept art version. It came in, getting that in hand, I was like, oh shit, this is incredible. Like, this looks so much like Chris Evans. What else do they have in stock? And then bought the Infinity War Thor, and then yeah, it's just been a slippery slope since then. So yeah, it's just, and then that sense of community though. So like I found the 6 Scale Scavengers, and like started listening to their podcast and seeing like all the community. They kept saying like join our Facebook group, and I hadn't been on my Facebook in like 7 years. And so like reactivated it to join them, and then saw you guys on one of the episodes, and then started like watching you guys and other live streams, and just really love that like people are, oh, here's Gigi right now. She was tricked by the, yeah. So just love that sense of community. And so I think that's what like accelerated my collecting, because the ability to share with other people. I don't have other friends that like collect stuff. I have one friend that has Ahsoka, the Hot Toy Ahsoka on pre-order, and he's like, when's it coming out? I was like, bro, your guess is as good as anyone else's, man. You might get that shit in 23, to be honest. So hopefully it drops soon. But yeah, that's really my background on how I got back into to collecting. So I guess we're a little bit over an hour now, so we can finish up with one last question here. And the question really is, and Zach alluded to this a little bit with his response on Lord of the Rings, but why are these like collectibles, toys, statues, figures, why are they so important to us, right? Like, why do they hold so much value that, you know, we dedicate so much time and money to them? So, John, let me start with you.
I like this question. This is a great question. For me, I think it's the emotional attachment. I've always been a movie fan, and I think being able to see your favorite characters, appreciate a good story, and then be able to get a collectible and hold it in your hand and enjoy it and display it. And it always it doesn't matter how old you are, it brings you back to that moment when you first saw that rendition of the character or that story on the screen. Mm-hmm. I'll give you an example. Iron Man. You watched Iron Man, and it was, what an amazing, I remember being, what year was that coming in? Long time ago. I was in my teens, easily. And then Hot Toys did the figure of the Mark III, and you were able to hold that figure in your hand, play around with it, display it.
That's back when they were plastic too, right?
Oh, exactly. Then when you display it, every time you walked into the room, you remember, it takes you back to that first time you saw him on film, on the screen, and how you felt. That's how it is for me. Same with the 1989 Batmobile. Being able to own a piece like that in your collection, it's the nostalgia of it.
I didn't know you had that. I'm so freaking jealous.
Yeah,
that
we get older, but the kid inside always is always there. That's how I feel.
That's beautiful, and I completely agree with that.
That's a
So,
beautiful sentiment.
So Dean, let's go to you next. So why are these collectibles so important?
I think I gotta mirror what John said. It's that feeling of your connection to that character come to life. One of the most important figures in my collection, which is funny because I really don't talk about it that much, but it's A New Hope Luke Hot Toys. That symbol of this bright-eyed kid ready to go on this adventure that he's really not even prepared for. He doesn't know what he's getting into. And it's kind of like reminds me of as a little kid watching Star Wars. I didn't know what it was going to mean to me. I mean, Star Wars is literally something I deal with every day, whether it's talking to Mario about a figure, talking to Zach, drawing a picture, like whatever it is, like explaining the story to somebody and that joy and love that I have for the films, but really the character, because everyone's a little bit of Luke, right? I think that's why the sequel trilogy pissed off a lot of people. It's like, that's us.
God, we'll be here for another hour.
No, I'll end it there. But like,
You don't want my take on Last Jedi, too.
it really is like your connection to that thing come to life, and I think John pretty much fucking nailed it immediately. So good job, John.
Thank you.
All right, that's beautiful, guys. All right, so Mario, let's kick it over to you next. Why is it so important to us? Why do we spend so much freaking money on these things?
Because nostalgia is expensive, and it's a motherfucker, dude. So, plain and simple, man. I mean, that's gonna be my answer is a plain and simple nostalgia. Growing up, having what I had when I was a kid, basic 5 points of articulation figures, right? Generic Transformers. There were just like little 2-3 step processes just to transform these things. It was at the time. There were great representations of what I enjoyed as a kid growing up. Nowadays, man, it's just on a whole different level. Things have changed. I mean, even the smaller scale stuff, they've improved so much with all the articulation and the improved paint apps, the attention to details that's implemented in these figures. But it's just something about with Hot Toys and statues right now that where you have the ultimate representation of not just the character that you've connected with, but of an actual IP that you really love a lot. In my case, Star Wars, right? So I can have damn near any piece on the shelf, look at it. Like I've got Lando right here. I'm looking at it and it instantly takes me back to Empire when Han first lands the Falcon on the Bespin and Lando comes out and greets him, and everything else that transpired, in that movie. I'm just instantly transported back to that. At the same time, I feel like I have the best possible representation on the shelf of that particular character, from the head sculpt to the fine details of the costume and the outfit itself. That's another thing that I really appreciate too is character design. So when I have something on the shelf that nails all the details of the costume of everything, it's like, wow, I have like a legit, like probably the best representation of this particular character, or IP or whatever, sit on the shelf. And that's just, to me, I don't think you can put a price tag on that, to be honest. If it's something that you're really that much attached to, then it's priceless, man.
Thank you, Mario. You hear that, GG? Priceless.
Yeah.
Can't put a price on it.
even these statues right now, like the Heath Ledger is one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite theatrical version of the Joker. And now I have an opportunity to pick up, probably in my opinion, one of the best representations of that in the form of the Queen Studios version. And I'm dying for that to come out. I'm really looking forward to that piece coming out, man. So yeah, man, it's just again, it's just a nostalgia, and just the fact that the ultimate representation on your sitting there on your shelf is just priceless.
Hear that. Thank you for sharing that, Mario. All right, so Zach, question to you: Why is it so important? Why are these figures, statues so important?
I think Mario makes a great point. You know, being able to enjoy your favorite character or monster or whatever in your collection. I just like coming here at the end of the day. I can sit down. It's nice and quiet. Everything's nice and lit, nice and displayed, and posed the way I like it. And I mean, really, like people get a lot of enjoyment out of staring at like a painting, and this is just like a different form of that. And I just enjoy just looking at this collection that I've curated, and I feel like a little I don't know, people work in museums, I don't know what they're called, but kind of like setting things up. And the challenge for me lately has been maximizing the display space I have. So I've taken some things out of the collection and boxed them up, and they're wherever, but now it's like trying to kind of fit the things that I want to fit and still have it look good. So that's been like my thing lately. So like when I first moved here, it was a big thing. Like I finally had a house. I could, make a big collection room. And then, we came to picking the right furniture, picking how I wanted to light it, how I wanted to set everything up. And then now it's trying to maximize the space for the next 6 months. And then I get to start all over. So it's fun.
Beautifully said, and I like the art analogy, because I mean they are little works of art, really, and they evoke an emotional response from us when we see it. I'm going to get a little bit kind of weird and philosophical with it, and maybe it's just the beers talking, so stop me if I'm not making any sense. But I've got one more little screen share to do, so let me do this really quick.
The beer's talking, bro. We've only seen you have one, man. Is that all it takes?
Hey, I had a few before we came on here.
All right.
Did anyone collect this line, the X-Men 90s line? Anybody on here?
I did not.
No.
So this on top of. Oh man! All right, I got
really, Dean.
You hate Batman. You hate X-Men,
bro.
Dean, you might be the worst, bro.
No. You know what? He loves Star Wars, man. So he's all right in my book.
That's right. All right.
That's my brother.
He's got one thing going for him. So really quick story here. I'll give the Cliff Notes version, but being in Toys R Us, Zach, thanks for evoking their name earlier. Being in Toys R Us, I love the X-Men cartoon, and I saw one of the figures, and I remember turning the back. So I was like, I have to get, all of them. But I think there was maybe Wolverine at the time, and then turning the back and seeing all the other ones that were coming soon. And like, I was just freaking blown away. And so I think like collecting these Hot Toys, like taps into like that part of me as a kid. That's like, it just has that joy of, number one, getting something to collect that's a representation of something that I love. But people hate the lack of transparency from Hot Toys, and I kind of dig it because it's like this mysterious. Every night I'm like, this might drop. I don't know. Like it kind of gives you something to look forward to all the time, and kind of keeping you on your toes. And it always brings me back to like being a kid and just having this feeling of like, oh man, I can have this representation of what I really love. And then there's more coming. There's more on the way. I don't know. Just that is where I will stop that and just say that, yeah, these figures are like, I don't know. Collecting recently has just unlocked this side of me that I didn't realize that I was missing for so many years when I stopped collecting. So,
if you're really into those X-Men characters, there's a few statues that we can show you, man, that might pique your interest.
Mario, I've seen that Wolverine, the one that PJ has, and that one might be long sold out at this point.
That's just one of many. All right, so
I'm waiting for Gigi's comment.
Gigi's getting the broomstick ready.
Exactly, I'm waiting for her to come around the corner and start
fucking box someone's ear.
She's getting the couch ready for you, buddy.
That's right. Fuck, I might be.
She's already got me in the chat.
Statue, your spine. I'd still go statue.
Might be worth the trade-off, to be honest, John.
Hey.
Oh man, well, I think that is probably going to wrap it up for our conversation today. Thank you guys for hopping on so late, and I know you guys are all super busy, so I guess I'll give all of you guys a chance to plug what you have coming up in terms of individual, but maybe Zach, you want to talk about what's coming up on the channel this week?
Yeah, we have unboxing Monday. I think John has some neat something or other in mind. I'll probably let him tell you what that is. Tuesday we have collecting weekly. Wednesday after dark. Thursday should be small talk, and then Friday Mario's in and outs of collecting, I think.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, we did have something really cool going on. So if you haven't voted yet for the collecting weekly awards, you can do that. I'm trying to put the link in the comments. No, is it not going to let me? I don't know. It doesn't like my link. But anyways, yeah, if you guys want to vote for that, I don't know why it's not posting the link.
If you want to put it in the private chat, maybe I can try to copy it over.
Oh, hang on. I think I'm just an idiot. There we go. Yeah, click on that link. You can win $100 if you are the lucky winner of that contest. But we're trying to pick the best figures and companies from this year, and every vote does count because right now we actually have a tie in one of the categories. So, but yeah, we got a great week for the network, and thanks for inviting us, bro.
No, thank you guys so much for coming, and looking forward to all that content dropping this week. John, do you want to talk a little bit about what's going on Monday?
Yeah, we're gonna have our regular unboxing. You guys gotta visit the Collecting Weekly Facebook auxiliary page. I'm gonna drop tomorrow morning what we're gonna be unboxing. I'll give you a little hint. It's gonna be a statue. I'm gonna keep going with the trend of statues, but
Love it.
Mario as well had a little. I don't know if he wants to mention. He was thinking about doing a figure that he got in recently.
Actually, it's a figure that's still inbound.
It's still
I'll just
inbound.
say it hasn't passed customs yet, according to the tracking. So I don't know. It might be extremely last minute. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. Okay, but stay posted to the Facebook page. I'll get that posted up, and you guys will see. And stay tuned. We'll get a 60 seconds with John up this week also. So
Wow.
Heck yeah, I'd love to hear it.
Looking forward to that.
Very cool.
Dean, anything else that you want to broadcast that you got coming up?
I don't think so. Whatever these guys are up to.
There you go. All right, you're just the star of the show, right? Just let them curate everything.
What the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
he just shows up and it gives us that wonderful voice and personality.
On that, Zach,
Wow.
I've already ripped off your intro. Would you mind if I
Don't
borrowed
fucking do
Dean and ripped off the outro? Normally I'd have Gigi to do it. So, Dean, if you're comfortable, would love for you to take us out.
Bye.
I'm Zach.
Fucking never invite John ever again. How dare you?
All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Good night.
Bye.
Jumbo, baby.
Love it.